Hey everybody, what's going on? It is the, I don't even know what today is. See, last week, I don't remember. It's the 20-something, it has a 2 in it, so, and it's a Wednesday. So, this coronavirus has everybody like on lockdown and everything, and social distancing, and everybody go out and stay home and don't do anything. But I noticed, like, places like Los Angeles and everything, helicopters flying over, there's people playing basketball, there's people at the beach, which I understand, but you need to keep yourself at 6 feet. This is not one of those, like, this is what we need to do to make everything better. This is more of like a positivity. So especially with like social media, any type of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even YouTube, put some positive things out there. Let people know that everything is going to be okay, and don't be, such, I guess, a troll, or put negative remarks on people's comments, because you don't know on how they're taking things. You don't know on what they're going through or what's happening in their life. I mean, a lot of people, when this thing happened like last week, a lot of people lost their jobs, and they go show up to work and saying, hey, you know what, we don't need you. Unfortunately, we're like if you go to like Outback or something, they're only doing takeouts. They don't need any servers. They don't need any bus boys. They don't need anything like that. You only have like certain cooks, and the manager are pretty much the only ones that are there. So you don't know exactly what they're going through, and possibly the anxiety of coming up with a car payment, the rent, the bills, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it deals with positivity and nice remarks and, comforting one another, I want to say. So I kind of want to switch a little bit of a gear on that, but, be positive to everybody on social media. You don't need to go and say, oh, negativity, you're ugly, you're fat, you got zits and all that, because, hey, you know what? I mean, you don't know what they're going through, and overall, you shouldn't be doing that crap anyway. If you do, it's because you think that you're better than somebody, and you're not. I do work with people like that, and it ticks me off, per se. So, it's everybody's going to be making fun of other people. They think that they're better because they don't like the way that their lives are, or they've bullied people their entire life, or they were bullied. Now they can go and do it because they know nothing's going to happen to them until the final consequence of that person snapping. So that would go ahead and lead into, I wish that the government looked more into diseases, like Alzheimer's, cancer, especially mental illness, the way that they look at this coronavirus. Like if you go and take the coronavirus and the deaths, like worldwide, that could, possibly lead up to an invisible thing that a lot of people don't tell you, as people killing themselves and committing suicide, or like let's say 700 and some people got affected. Well, that could be the attempt suicides of mental illness and their life not going very well. I just wish kind of like the government kind of looked into that state of like, hey, you know what, now that because of all this, and I'm gonna go and say it, and I'm not gonna go and share, but the moron in chief sits there and claims like, oh, there's gonna be more deaths, there's gonna be more suicides because of this and everything, and I just wish that, personally, that other people would look into the mental health issues and the state of people on and doing their research and helping the people out. They're like, oh, we're going to go and open up, these hotels for the sick and everything. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I just wish that they kind of would do the same thing for mental illness, especially for the homeless, because you don't know why, one person's homeless. I mean, they could have made a bad choice in life, and, they lost everything, or they couldn't, they fought, they were in the military, and, post-war syndrome, I want to say what it is, that could happen, and, they don't have a place to live, or the landlord basically just kicked them out, or sold the whatever that they were living in and kicked them out, and that kind of like threw underneath the blanket kind of thing. So I just wish that the government looked more into the deep hole of mental illness and how much it affects everybody. It kind of reminds me of the coronavirus a little bit. These people are, diagnosed with it. But I wish that they did a diagnose of people with mental illness. I know it's more of like of a thing that you would have to go to a hospital or a doctor, and they're saying, hey, you know what? I need some, antidepressants, or I need some sort of chemical, balance to balance your mind out, as far as, the way everything is processed, especially for me. So, I mean, it kind of stinks. I just kind of, like wishful thinking that that they would like do something towards that, other than, the lobbyists and everything saying, hey, we're gonna trickle down, $4 billion or whatever to fund this, and a lot of the money will go back into the giant corporations, CEOs' pockets, and so they don't, become us as far as middle or lower class people and stuff. I mean, it's probably, as what I was told is, every man for himself, and unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Even now, it kind of goes that way, especially in the type of world that it is. But it's just a thought. It's one of those things that wish that that they did something towards looking at mental illness like they look at the coronavirus for people. My happy thoughts, vibes, everything towards hopefully everybody gets well. We'll get through it. Don't know when it's going to end, but fingers crossed that it's soon, and the world will start turning on the way that it should be, with everybody out and having fun and bringing back the movies and the conventions and the pop-ups and the other fun things that people can do, going to the beach, playing basketball. But be safe. Listen for what everybody's telling you to do, or almost telling you to do. Keep that social distancing with 6 feet apart from everybody. So with that being said, I am out, and every day is Halloween. See you later.